Streaming service DC Universe's new live-action Titans television series has left critics quite divided, now that its first season has wrapped up. But regardless of whether you liked the bold choices the show made or thought it was awkward or sacrilegious to what's canon in the comics, there's no doubt that Titans has ventured back into the darker era of DC. Now, back in the late 80s, Batman and his mythos were somewhat revived by a slew of dark and gritty stories, primarily stemming from the release of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. DC fans witnessed an era that questioned the Caped Crusaders' ethics and morality, and saw superheroes venturing out into vigilante territory, for reals. Many other titles and releases at DC also followed suit. Now, while comics have taken a brighter turn over the last few decades, Titans is getting back to that grit, for better or for worse. So today we're counting down our picks of the top 10 darkest moments in Titans. And of course, spoiler alert friends, you've been warned. With that in mind, let's jump in. In at number 10, Batman. Let's start off our list with a moment that even those who haven't seen the show are aware of. We had to include the infamous Batman line on our list. Batman. Now, for starters, this statement alone blew a lot of fans out of the water. When the initial Titans trailer came out, fans were like, "Whoa, is this for real?" Many hated it and many laughed at it. Others didn't know what to expect. The moment itself occurs after Robin has defeated a group of thugs, having dragged one opponent's face along some broken glass. Oh, that Robin, he's a loose cannon. Now in the show, he's turned against his former mentor, and clearly he's a hard-ass motherfucker because of it. But when it comes down to it, Batman is a statement that really defines the direction Titans is going in, a defiance of the current status quo when it comes to the superhero genre in film and television, and, you know, to make fanboys squeal a little, if we're being honest. And at number 9, the Garden Shears. In episode 2 of Titans, titled Hawk and Dove, Robin comes to the rescue of the titular characters by literally stabbing a foe in the balls with a pair of garden shears. This ain't your Adam West boy wonder now, is it? I mean, while out of context this warrants a whole lot of eye rolls concerning his grittiness and choice of target, personally I would have gone for an eye Robin, come on. To be fair, the opponent was threatening to castrate Hawk with those same garden shears, so really, you could just view this as Dick Grayson having a pretty dark sense of humor. All in all though, it's still a moment of gratuitous violence that really pushes home how much darker this Dick Grayson is. Up next, number 8, Bloody Bats. In the season finale of Titans, Trigon puts Grayson in a dreamscape, where he sees his worst nightmares play out. And oh boy, just that statement alone is not good. What does Dick see? Well, the Joker has killed Commissioner Gordon, causing Bruce Wayne to go mental, leading Dick to head back to Gotham in order to save the city from its former hero. He ends up at Arkham Asylum and sees Bruce's handiwork. The Caped Crusader has brutally slain inmates the likes of the Riddler, the Ventriloquist, and more. Then Dick sees Bruce killing the Joker. This then leads Grayson to revealing to the world that Batman is Bruce Wayne, and a police task force is sent to Wayne Mansion to take him out. But of course, the Batman is ready and waiting. What ensues is perhaps one of the most gruesome and graphic fight sequences to ever appear in a DC adaptation. Batman. In at 7, Jason Todd. This number is a unique one on our list. There's nothing particularly gruesome or gratuitous about this episode of Titans, episode 6 titled Jason Todd. Rather, it's dark in a really emotional way. For starters, the episode explores Dick Grayson's not-so-warm memories of his past with Hallie's circus. Second, as the title of the episode signifies, we finally get to see a live-action adaptation of Jason Todd, the second Robin. But it's not the Jason Todd that you'd expect. You know, the hardened, vengeful Red Hood of his later days after DC unceremoniously killed him off by having readers phone in their vote of whether or not to keep him alive. Instead, we see a youthful, optimistic Jason Todd at the start of his career as Robin, fully believing that Batman, his mentor, needs a Robin, a philosophy that Grayson strongly refutes. Batman. What makes this episode dark is that, all things considered with how Titans has played out over its first season, you know damn well that in an upcoming season we will see Todd meet his demise. It's inevitable. It's an integral part to the character's mythos. And it's a brutal enough event that you bet your ass Titans is going to incorporate it. But for now, we're left with this good-hearted young teenager who doesn't know better. And that's just flat out depressing. And at number 6, the post-credits scene. Here's another moment where the implications and the foreshadowing for future Titan storylines in season 2 may leave you with a shiver, or a not-so-great feeling of dread. At the end of the season finale credits, a post-credits scene takes place at Cadmus Labs, with the text reading, "Somewhere in Metropolis." We see a glimpse of a naked Subject 13, escaping his cloning tube. This is none other than the introduction to Superboy, the Connor Kent version post-Crisis on Infinite Earths, who was introduced during the reign of the Supermen after after the ever so terrible Death of Superman story arc that ruined death in comic books. I'll save my rant on that one for another day. Anywho, Connor is a clone of Superman's, a test tube child, the 13th experiment in a series of tests to recreate Superman. In the scene, which opens on black, we hear some of the Cadmus scientists being beaten to a pulp, possibly killed. The scene then opens to give us a security camera perspective right outside the isolated test tube room, and we see the naked Subject 13 walk up to one of the still alive scientists while walking past a slew of potentially dead bodies on the ground. He then opens up a cage containing a dog, which appears to be Crypto the Super Dog. Here's hoping. All in all, it's clear that this Superboy isn't above murder, and will be a whole lot more homicidal than the version of him in the comics. And at 5, Raven's origin. In the comics, Rachel Roth, aka Raven, is the daughter of an interdimensional demon named Trigon and a human woman named Arella, also known as Angela Roth, who was born in Gotham City. Trigon has married Angela, and they have Raven, who would grow up in an alternate dimension called Azarath. There she was taught to control her emotions in order to suppress her demon abilities, with the reason being that people feared that if Raven felt too strongly about something, she might become possessed by the evil demonic energy of her father's that was still inside of her. Now in Titans, specifically in episode 1, we see that her parentage is still the same, but there's some bleak adjustments that have been made to her story. Her origin story. Rachel is now in foster care, unaware of the truth of her past. She comes home from school one day to find out that her foster mom, Melissa, is being held at gunpoint by one of Trigon's cult assassins, who intends to fill Rachel in on her true heritage. Melissa is then shot in the head.
But that is not who you are.
Let my mom go.
It's pretty graphic. Rachel's powers then manifest and she flees and eventually meets Dick Grayson. And at number 4, burning the Robin suit. After a really brutal sequence in episode 7, Asylum, something that we'll be touching on later, Dick decides to let go of his past officially by burning his Robin suit after the building goes up in flames. It's an emotional moment, but ultimately one that really sets the stage for the kind of trauma that has led Dick to becoming this aggressive. Speaks volumes. And at number 3, sexual abuse. Hawk and Dove were first introduced to us in the 2nd episode of the season. Played by Alan Ritchson and Minka Kelly, we learn that Dick used to date Dawn, aka Dove, something that Hawk really dislikes him for, and that the duo had fought alongside the Boy Wonder in the past. But by the time that we reach episode 9, Hank and Dawn, we got to learn more about the past of Hawk, or rather, Hank. Something about his own origins that hasn't really been done in the superhero genre before in terms of adaptations. Now we find out that Hank was molested when he was a child by his football coach, something he took on the bulk of in order to protect his younger brother Don from also being assaulted by the pedophile. This of course has really informed his character and his own aggressive outbursts. It's a touching but emotionally hard scene to digest, and it's also revealed what happened to the child predator years later, a violent, brutal end as an act of retribution via Hank and Dawn. And at number 2, judge, jury, and executioner. Dick Grayson and mass murderer are not two things that DC fans would have ever seen associated with one another up until Titans. Yay! In episode 7, Asylum, Robin decides to take matters into his own hands while the group are escaping, and it results in him brutally murdering all of the security guards. There's a lot of blood. The team just stand there and watch him kill all of those dudes. No one objects, even as they awkwardly tiptoe through the carnage of all of the dead bodies afterwards. After Robin tells them to get out of the building, he continues to go on his crusade after telling Starfire to blow up the building. It's really bloody. And by the end of it all, we then see our number 4 on this list, Dick saying goodbye to his Robin identity for good by burning the Boy Wonder suit in the aftermath of the explosion. And finally, in at number 1, Dick kills Bruce. If mass murdering a bunch of security guards wasn't enough for you, how about Dick Grayson murdering the man who mentored him? And well, yes, clearly traumatized him. In the season finale during Dick's nightmare sequence, we see Dick do exactly that. So yeah, it's not him killing Batman for real, but he kind of enjoys it and it's still gruesome to watch. In the nightmare during the siege on Wayne Manor, Bruce Wayne uses a freeze gun on Starfire, which is the nail in the coffin for Dick. Dick sets off explosives, causing the mansion to crumble. The ex-Boy Wonder then finds his mentor trapped in the rubble of the building inside of the Batcave. This is when he also spots Starfire, now dead. With nothing to lose and every possible nightmare come alive, Dick puts his boot on Batman's throat, suffocating him to death. We hear Bruce's struggles as the camera focuses on Grayson's unforgiving face. And because of this, in the real world, now Trigon has been able to take control of Grayson, giving us one hell of a cliffhanger for season 2. Alright, there we have it friends, what are your thoughts about Titans? Did you love it, or did you hate it? Have you not seen it? Are you waiting for it to end up on Netflix? Because you won't give in to that DC Universe subscription fee? Well, give us a shout in those comments below and let us know all of your thoughts. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to share it with a friend or Titans fan. We've also got a whole lot of other videos in a playlist currently flashing on your screen that you may want to check out, so why not give it a click. In the meantime though, thanks for watching y'all. I'll catch you all in the next video.
Man,